Welcome to The Truth. We've got a lot to get into this week. Donald J. Trump's transition team very much at work. Kash Patel saying he will be ready day one. Now, a reporter, seen here in just a second, said, are you going to go after Trump's political enemies? He said, we are going to be ready to go to work day one. So I don't know what you infer from that quote, but here it is.
Resignation. We look forward to a very smooth transition at the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
Meanwhile, everybody is making the pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. Jeff Bezos is now pledging $1 million to the inauguration committee. Mark Zuckerberg has pledged $1 million to the inauguration committee. And of course, you know, Elon Musk has given $200 million to the Trump campaign and related friendly C4s, or sympathetic C4s, I should say. And it's like, you know, we've been wanting to unite the country, and it's like the whole country is uniting around Trump. Because I think the country has finally become wise to what's been going on. And people don't want to live in a country like the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, or Russia today, or the communist China that we have come to fear and loathe. Speaking of fearing and loathing, well, who are orchestrating these drones that are flying over New York and New Jersey? And, you know, the thing that puzzles me about it, the people who are supposed to be protecting us. So we don't know who it is. We don't know what it is. And you know, and I know that that's just a lie. I happen to have been a pilot since I was 15 years old. I am a pilot today. In fact, I just flew all the way out to California and back for Thanksgiving. I'm fortunate to have a nice ride. But I know aviation. I'm very well acquainted with aviation. I have been to the Atlanta Center and toured it. I've been to the Atlanta Tracon, which actually is the approach and departure control, separate facility from the center. Folks, there is nothing that flies in the continental United States, with rare exception, that is not on the FAA's radar. Now, when I fly, my airplane sends out what is known as a transponder code. That code tells the controllers the call sign on my airplane and the flight plan, reports the flight plan that I have filed, like West Palm Beach to LAX. It will show the controller that on his screen. And if you have ever looked on FlightAware, you with the call sign of an airplane, you can track that airplane anytime it's in the air. So my point is that I know the air traffic control system, I know the radar system, because I have used it for like 60 years. And it used to be very hit or miss. The coverage used to be scattered, and there was no digital information displayed on it. It was just a target on the screen. You'd call up the controller, you'd tell him your position and the discrete code that we call it squawking, which you were transmitting. And then he says, oh yeah, I see you. You're just there south of Atlanta, Hartsfield Airport, 12 miles, and squawking VFR, which is 1200. That's the code that you would squawk. And then if you are checking on for a flight plan or trying to get flight following, as we call it, they will give you a discrete code. You key it in on your transponder, and it then identifies you for that controller and any other controller that looks at it. Why am I explaining all this? Because today there is like nothing in the United States airspace that is not identified. In most areas of the country where there's any concentration of planes, you are required by law to transmit a code And in most places like busy airspace around New York and New Jersey, you have to be talking to a controller. And they can track you. They do track you, not surreptitiously. I want them to track me because they'll give me separation from bad weather and other opposing traffic. So, what's the point of all that? The point is they can watch the drones. They can see them take off. They can see them land, even without the code. It's called a primary target. They can observe every move those drones make. So why are they lying to us? Why is there no transparency? I mean, all we are left to do is speculate. So now you know that spy balloon that left China, floated across the Pacific, went up into Canada, and then floated down into the United States and traversed our country, hovered over our most sensitive nuclear bases, and made its way to the Atlantic, where our very courageous, illegitimate president, Joe Biden, shot it down over the Atlantic after the mission was complete. It feels like deja vu all over again to me. Now, the other possibility is that they're Martians, aliens, and they just don't want to scare the American people. Well, I don't really buy that one. The other option is they're hobbyists. You know, teenage kids out there flying automobile-sized drones. Oh, automobile-sized drones? No, I don't think most teenage kids could afford that. Now, the other thing that is absolutely perplexing to me is, why are the drones lighted? Why are they identified with lights? That's the thing I cannot really intellectually problem solve. If I was China and I was flying drones illegally flying drones over the United States, I wouldn't light them because they're easy to identify then from the ground. Now, you don't need to be lighted for the air traffic controller to identify them from the air or from the radar screen. But that's one I don't have the answer to. So if it is a foreign entity, are they just trying to worry us, to create unnecessary fear, uncertainty, and doubt? What would they gain from that? What's the end game? I just don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe you can tell us. 804-778-8888. We'd be happy to hear from you. So, drones flying over New Jersey and New York. Do you think that if Trump was already president, that would be happening? I don't think so. At the very least, we would track where they're going, where they go land, and we would have the full force of the military, the FBI, and other departments of the federal government and state government going to intercept them. It would not be hard. So we are left only to ponder and to come up with our own theories so that they can then label us as crazed conspiratorialists while they feed the conspiracies by withholding the information that I think we as the American people are deserving of. Now, I did watch a United States congressman. Where is he from? I think Tennessee. And he said that he has it on good authority that there is an Iranian ship off the coast of the United States and that they are deploying the drones. The State Department has steadfastly denied it. So I don't know. I don't know. But we'll continue to watch it, and it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. For the last 3 years, I've told our listeners that January the 6th is the next Russia hoax. It's the next fake. It was the next in a series of fake impeachments and made up charges against Donald Trump. January 6th was an invention of the Democrats to try and prevent Donald Trump from becoming president of the United States so they could label him an insurrectionist. And in the process of doing that, they have killed 4 American citizens, including Ashley Babbitt. She was murdered in cold blood by Michael Byrd, the Capitol Hill policeman that came out of the shadows and shot and killed her. I have thought that people were pushing Ashley Babbitt up and more or less really forcing her through that window. Now you have to understand Ashley Babbitt was, I believe, 5'4", 5'5". She was a very small lady. She was petite, but she was a powerful lady because she served 14 years in the Army. She was a veteran who served our Army in Iraq. 7 years active duty, 7 years in the reserves. She showed up at the Capitol to protest what she believed to have been a stolen election. I agree with her. No surprise there, right? And hey, look, I don't have to convince you. You, our faithful listeners, are among the 80% of America that don't believe Joe Biden was democratically elected president of the United States. In fact, the people that say that he was democratically elected, I don't believe it. Schiff, Schumer, Pelosi, they all know they're lying. They've unleashed 4 years of unmitigated hell on this country. And I'm not looking for revenge. I'm looking for accountability. Yes, I do. I do want them investigated and for charges to be brought, appropriate charges to be brought, if it can be proven that they violated the laws of this country, if they abused their authority and violated their oath. And I believe that the conduct of many of those people transcends violating the law and is treasonous. And the penalty for treason in this country is death. And as I've said before, if we investigate and not do what the Democrats did and just make stuff up, I only want the truth. I only want to know 100% incontrovertibly whether Joe Biden was an illegitimate president of the United States. I want the proof. Either he was or he wasn't. Either he got the 81 million votes that they claim, or it was a lie. Now, Donald Trump got the most popular votes of any modern Republican president, and the most, I'm pretty sure, the most electoral college votes since Reagan. I think that's correct. Yet we're told that Biden got 81 million votes. No president, no candidate for president's ever gotten 81 million votes, and neither did he. There should be a consequence for stealing the foundation of this country. There should be consequences for staging a fake insurrection and putting provocateurs in the crowd. You think I'm making stuff up? Ask Michael Horowitz. He is the Inspector General. That's a name that should be familiar to you because he is the inspector general charged with overseeing the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He is the one who reported that there is no evidence of collusion with Russia. This country has lost its way, and it all points back to the alphabet agencies, principally the FBI and the CIA, that operate in the shadows. They have made themselves, they have insulated themselves from oversight because they are always engaged in an ongoing investigation and can't talk about that. And it's got to stop. Kash Patel, welcome. Do your job. Can you stand up to the evil? But folks, sunshine is the greatest disinfectant there is known to evilness in government, and it's time to let the sun shine in.